Hello everybody, welcome to JTP. In today's video I'm going to be doing a prediction. How well will the 2022 victors do for re-election? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe, and yes. So this video is going to be kind of complicated. First of all, here is the 2028 presidential election results, assuming Biden wins in 2024. So DeSantis gets the win with 270 compared to Kamala Harris's 268. Now, for like you might be saying, how can we do the House if, they have re-election in 2024? Well, we're just going to do a scenario where all these congressmen and women get re-elected and re-elected to the point of 2028, and we'll see how well they would do in the year 2028. And you might be asking, well, what about the governor's races? Their governor races are 2026. Well, same with that. We'll assume that's going to be in 2028. Or I guess for that, we'll just assume it's 2026, I guess. So yeah, okay. So we'll start with the Senate. I do think it would be a pretty fair map. Or a similar map to 2022, at least for the solid states. California, I do think would be safe. Illinois. I'm saying it goes likely, honestly. The state has been trending red even in the 2022 midterms because of Chicago. So yeah. And yeah, New York as well. I mean, probably not because Lee Zeldin might not be the ticket. And we can do a likely state, Alaska. Iowa, because Chuck Grassley might not be the nominee. Ohio. But this is going to be a different senator because J.D. Vance is, DeSantis is VP. Not North Carolina, Florida, I would say goes solid for Rubio. And yeah, now, well, yeah, Colorado as well, I do think will go solid for Bennett easily. And yeah, now, New Hampshire as well would go for Hassan easily. Arizona will go to Kelly by 5.8 or so, as well as Georgia, all to the Democratic column. Now, for Republicans, I do think they'll go Wisconsin with a lean margin. I do think they'll improve with the base than they did in 2022. So, yeah. And I also do think, North Carolina would be like a very big bellwether state. I'm saying Bud would win here by 1 point exactly. Would be very close. I do think Nevada would be a pickup for Republicans, as well as the state of Pennsylvania, because Fetterman, we don't know how well he'll perform in the Senate because of his stroke. So yeah, this is a final map. Republicans get Nevada and Pennsylvania as their two pickups, so Democrats just improve with some of their Democratic states. And yeah, so Senator Fetterman lost re-election, as well as Senator Mosto. And now we'll go to House elections. We'll zoom in here. I'm just going to do it very quickly. We'll start from over here. We'll start from the West Coast. I do think Shire, if that's how you pronounce it, will win re-election. Perez as well. We're not going to do margins. We're just going to be very quick on this. I do think by 2028, I do think Republicans would barely have a majority. So 2024, Republicans will keep their majority. 2026, they'll probably keep it because Biden is president. And then 2028, it would be very close in my opinion. Okay, Oregon, we probably already know this. I do think the 5th, we can go to the House to see how well, Well, okay, guess that's that. I mean, it's alright, we'll just see here. Okay, so the state of Oregon, over here, Oregon's 5th. It went red by 2.1. I would say because that's because of Drazen, so I'm saying it goes blue. And the state of California would be more red, in my opinion. Kevin Kiley will win, John Dewar, Valadalo, Garcia would still win, Calvert would still win. Michelle Steele would still win for sure. And I do think Democrats would keep their seats, but it would go closer, in my opinion. So yeah. The state of Nevada, I do think that it would kind of be the same map. We can go to Nevada over here. Okay, so here's Nevada. Nina Titus would probably win here with a leaning, or we'll just say, for the sake of it, we'll just put solid because, you know. Nevada's third would go blue, as well as the fourth, but they would all be closer margins, like I said. And yeah, and now we'll go to Montana's. First, I do think Zinke would win here by like 5 or so. Boebert would lose here by 2 or so. And Carvaro, I think she won by 0.7. If that's the case, she'll win with like 3. So yeah, and New Mexico's second. I'm seeing it flips for Republicans, but barely. Cisco Manies, we'll just go to Arizona. To save Arizona. Cisco Manu, I'm saying he pulls it off with a tilt. I think the district will trend a little bit more to the Democrats. And give me one moment. Sorry about that. So yeah, Cisco Manu's district, I'm pretty sure shifted blue. I believe in or it shifted red actually. I think if he's the incumbent, it would be closer. It would increase, but in the presidential level by then, it would probably go blue. But the 6th district would go for Cisco Manu barely. And Arizona. Eli Crane would win here with a likely still. I think Schweitzer's district would flip, honestly. Because of, obvious trends. So yeah, that concludes Arizona's 2028 House elections. Now we go to Alaska. It's really interesting because Mary Peltola only won because there was 2 candidates against her, really. It depends on who is the nominee, but I'm thinking it goes tilting depending if there is 2 or more candidates. If it's 2 or more, we could even put in the likely column, but if it's a 1v1 matchup, which it probably isn't, it would probably go tilt Republican, but for the sake of it, we'll just say tilt Democrat because we really don't know. Don Bacon's seat would probably go leaning for him. Zach Nuncy, I'm saying it goes tilting. He barely won when Kim Reynolds was in the election. I do think it'd go very close, but since he's the incumbent, I'd say it goes red. Now, I do think these districts would go likely. Minnesota's second would go likely Democrat. Van Orden's district would go likely Republican, as well as the first. State of Illinois, Lauren Underwood. It's pretty self-explanatory, so we'll just fill it in. And in the end, it's first. By then, it would trend really Republican. It's been for the past year. So I'm saying Mervyn. Barely. It really depends on who's the nominee. But I'm saying it flips, a hot take on Indiana because of trends. And John James' district, I do think would go leaning because of, I think it was close because of Gretchen Whitmer was on the ticket. I do think Michigan 7th would go. Oh wait, why am I doing margins again? Sorry, I forgot. Let me just quickly fill it in now. We're not doing margins again because I have to make this video quickly because after this I have to do the governor's races. I'm really sorry I forgot. So yeah, y'all get the gist of it, I guess, But yeah, Michigan will trend red, because of, I do think by then Republicans could do somewhat good in the base. Which is why I will say Ohio's 13 would go Republican. Kind of, we could see that as part of the base. And the first district would go blue. I would say Mercy Captor's district goes more red, but still goes blue. Chuck Edwards' district will go red. And really the rest of these districts would go Democrat as well. And Stanford Bishop's district would go blue, no doubt. Darren Soto's would go blue. Anna Luna's will go red. But Mosokowitz, if that's how I pronounce it, will go red. So that's a flip for the Republicans. Virginia's second would go red. However, the 7th and 10th will go for Democrats, as well as Maryland 6th. And I do think Pennsylvania 17th would go blue. Fitzpatrick's seat would obviously go red. Susan White, I think, would win re-election, but however, I do think we can go to Pennsylvania and see it here. Okay, so okay, so Susan Wild won here with a leaning. The district is still blue, so I would expect her to win. However, Cartwright's seat, I'm saying it goes tilt for the Republicans. I mean, Josh Shapiro on the ticket really influenced the election, and obvious reasons Scott Perry won his re-election. So yeah, it's another flip for Republicans, surprisingly. So Tom Keene probably would win there. New York would go heavily Democrat. Okay, so Republicans won the House already. So it seems they're on track to win the House by then. So yeah. I do think Mark Molinaro will win re-election. I do think, okay, we can go to New York, would be easier. Over here, New York, New York. George Santos loses.
Hyundai Santa Fe versus Nissan Murano. Look what Santa Fe.
That was an Adams. Sorry about that. Okay. Anthony D'Esposito would go blue. I mean, really, Lee Zeldin on the ticket was the reason why Republicans did so well. So lots of these districts would flip back blue. And what else? Okay, Mark Lawlers as well would go blue. Another flip. Pat Ryan would go district to go blue. Brandon Williams would go blue again. And that would go blue over obvious reasons. But, New York, I do think Brandon Williams could win re-election. It's just going to be really hard, in my opinion, to win here. Because of, New York, when Lee Zeldin on the ticket, it was really the only reason why they won. So yeah. And maybe I could say Anthony Esposito. It would go very close. All of the elections, it would go very close. How much is Brandon? Brandon Williams only 1 point. If that's the case, say he goes barely red, especially as he's the incumbent. So yeah, I forgot to put him on. Okay. Connecticut's 5th, I'd say would go red because it's been trending red, honestly. And Blue Mountain only won with 14 points. Well, I thought it would be safe, but Rhode Island 2nd to go blue. Of course, New Hampshire's 1st, and Jared Golden's seat. And it says we have one more toss-up race. Oh yeah, South Texas. Okay, so I do think Vincent Gonzalez will win, and Monica De La Cruz will win. Oh, why do I have margins here? Okay, let me quickly do this. Okay, and yeah. So this is how the House map would be in 2026, in my prediction. So basically it's the same map, I think, but just in a different order. So these representatives were re-elected all throughout 2024, 6, and end up in 2028. I'm saying this would be the map. States like Arizona and Georgia, North Carolina, Colorado would trend blue, but states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Florida, of course, would trend red. Nevada would trend red, but not enough Republicans to get a pickup there. So yeah, now we'll go to the governor's map. Okay, this is Santa, so I'll go to the 22 governors. This is going to be pretty interesting. So because in this, we're assuming it's 2026. And in 2026 would be a red wave year. Well, I'm not going to say it's going to be a red wave year, but you typically, if history was saying it, it would be a red wave year. At least a red splash. Because I do think Biden would be the incumbent then. I do think Republicans would get some of their act together. So we'll assume they do. Because I do think not exactly they would do it, but somewhat they would. So these would be the safe states. Ohio and Iowa. Alaska. I mean, maybe if there is a third party, but I'm just going to say it's likely for now. Of course, DeSantis. Or if DeSantis isn't the nominee, still would go solid. Really, it wouldn't matter. Okay, Hawaii, California, Oregon. Oregon would go likely. I don't think Kotek would be that popular. I mean, even if she is, I really don't think Oregon would go solid. Colorado, no doubt. Illinois, maybe not. I do think Pritzker would win there by under 15. Maryland, Connecticut go likely, as well as not Rhode Island, Massachusetts would go solid. Oh yeah, I forgot. Sean Baker's gone, so that's solid blue. Vermont, New Hampshire goes solid red. New York would go likely blue. Hochul would win re-election. And Mills would win there probably with 13 in Maine. And in Michigan, Whitmer would win here by 5.8 or so. Josh Shapiro would win here by, Michigan and Pennsylvania would trend red. Because I do think they would get Republicans to get their act together, but not enough, or at least somewhat, they'll get their act together, but not enough to flip Pennsylvania and Michigan to lead margins. As well as the state of Minnesota, New Mexico, and that's it. Now, likely Republican states, Texas would go for Abbott by like 6 to 8. Alaska would go red for sure. Kemp, really, I think. Okay, we'll get to Kemp seats later. Okay, now leaning Democrat. I do think the state of Arizona would go leaning. Or maybe a till. It just really depends on, again, who is the nominee. We don't know. I do think it would be somewhat of a battleground still there. Katie Hobbs might not be as popular. Some say it goes till. But I do think Laura Kelly will go leaning. So yeah. Now, I do think Joe Lombardo will win re-election. And the state of Georgia would go leaning. And last but not least, Wisconsin. So we'll go red. Because, like I said, I think Republicans will get somewhat of their act together. And Tim Michaels really didn't campaign much. I think they didn't do a good job. So, and of course, it's not going to be the same map. If it is, I know my prediction is wrong. So, a pickup for Republicans is Wisconsin. Really, bellwether states in this election be Arizona, Wisconsin, Kansas, Nevada, Georgia, and maybe we could include maybe nothing. Okay, so yeah, I guess this video was over. So yeah, well, if this is the map, so if DeSantis wins in 2028, which I think he will, if Biden won in 2024, this would be the presidential map. This would be the governor's map in 2026 during the midterms. And I showed you the Senate map earlier in 2028. And this would be the House map in 2028. So this is how they would do in re-election. It's a complicated video, like I said. So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, and yeah, bye.